Good morning, 3-1. Good morning, ma'am. I am Arnold Sibioya, one of your discussant for today. The topic that I am going to discuss is about genre theory and writing, which is the continuation of Mr. Lopez report. So here's the list of things or table of content of my report. The first one is genre as a product in writing, and the second one is the process of teaching and learning through genre approach. Okay, genre as a product of writing. The genre as a product of writing means that genre writing is a kind of text or writing work itself. Okay, meaning the writing itself is the genre depending to how it was written, or was it to narrate a story or to persuade a reader or to describe an event. Genre is determined by need and audience expectation. So take this example. A memo delivers information in an expedient way that helps the audience understand a recent event or issue. Meanwhile, a business letter is more formal and detailed, with an audience that might need more background information. It is more important to know that information or what information your audience wants and needs in order to establish that or what genre you will use. Okay? So, next is it views that the language or the writing form must be related to social function of the text. It is also related with the latter example. In here, you have to make sure that the writing form, will it be persuasive, descriptive, informative, or whatnot. Link or connected to social function. Example is business or for entertainment or for educational function. So for example, a module is a writing genre that is to describe a lesson, an information about specific subject, which is for education. Another is the use of words. You have to make sure that the words used in the writing is related to the and to the subject, which is for module, okay, for a specific subject in the module, and make sure that this is also understandable. Okay, you are not going to use terms that are not related or familiar to people who will read the writing. For instance, if you're writing a storybook for kids, okay, do not use convoluted or ornate language because children will probably have a hard time reading and understanding the writing. Now we'll proceed to the characteristic of genre-based writing. So there are three characteristics. So let us first talk about the first characteristic, which is certain communicative purpose. It is the primary goal and intention of anyone involved in the act of communication on a given occasion, which is generally intended to be recognized by other participants. Okay, meaning if you are to write an article about how vaccine will help us to go back to normal and how it protect us, so that's the title of the article, then your communicative purpose probably is to tell people how vaccine would probably help us and the community, or telling us to get vaccinated so that we can go back to normal and be protected to the severe effect of COVID-19. Next characteristic is certain rhetorical structure or generic structure. So it is your way. When we say certain rhetorical structure, it is your way as a writer of communicating to the reader. Will it be persuasive, descriptive, expository, or narrative? Okay. While the generic structure is the structure of the text, which consists of stages by which the text goes through. Usually, it is consists of the beginning, middle, and the ending stages. That is certain rhetorical structure and generic structure. And lastly, for the characteristic is certain linguistic features. So it has something to do with the morphology, semantics, syntax, and pragmatics. So you can identify a specific genre by looking at its certain linguistic features. Okay. This is just like what I said. This are the morphology, semantics, syntax, and pragmatics of the genre. So in line with the genre as a product of writing, that every genre has its own distinctive generic structure or schematic structure by its physical structure. For example, each of the genre-based writing has different elements of text either by names or numbers. So a specific genre of writing can be complex in structure or can be simple in structure. So for example is recount genre. So when we say recount genre, retelling or recounting of an event or an experience, often based on the direct experience of the writer. The purpose is to tell what happened. So meaning to say it's already done past tense. So look at this example of structure of the recount and procedure genre. For the recount genre, a recount genre can be structured this way. There are three, which is the orientation, record of events or sequence of event, and reorientation or the conclusion. So orientation is the introduction or the opening of the story. This includes the settings and answers the 4W, which is what, when, where, and who. Okay. Next would be the record of event or sequence of event. Like where did you go first? Where did you go next? No? What did you do there? And so on. And for the last part is the reorientation, which is the conclusion. What went well or what is your feeling or emotion toward that experience? So look at this example, no? A trip to the zoo. Yesterday, my family went to the zoo to see the elephant. So this is the introduction which answers the 4W. Where would be at the zoo, who are the involved is the family, when it was yesterday, and what is went or visit the zoo. Okay, so for the sequence of event is this one. They go first to the zoo and they went to the shop inside the zoo to buy some foods that they are going to give to the animal, and they went to lunch, and after that they go to part of the zoo, which is to ride the elephant and so on. While for the conclusion is after they return home, they are tired but happy because they had so much fun. Okay. So the next is the structure of procedure genre. So from the word itself, procedure, it is sequence of actions or steps needed to make or do something or to accomplish something. Okay, the first is the topic or statement of purpose. For example, is how to cook adobo. So definitely this one is a process on how to cook adobo. So another example is steps to assemble this cabinet. So when you're going to buy a cabinet that is not yet assembled or not yet ready, there is an instruction there on how are you going to assemble that cabinet. And that is an example of genre, which is procedure genre. So for the next part of the structure is the sequence of steps to accomplish job or activities stated in the topic. So here, the first step of the process, start up to the end. So this is the part wherein the process that you are going to do is to it will start and up to the end. So for the closing, it is actually at the end part of the writing. Okay, so for procedure genre it is not required but only when necessary. So closing can be very short reminder in this part. Okay, the main lexicogrammars of recount genre. So when we say lexicogrammar, it is actually the level of linguistic structure where lexis or the vocabulary, the words you use, no, and the grammar or syntax combine into one. One of the recount genre writing provides a background information answering the question why, when, where, and what. And this is already in the past tense form because this is already experience. No, experience cannot be happen in the future, but experience done in the past. Okay, so sequence of time. So when we say sequence of times or the sequence of event, what happens first, what happens next, and so on. Because it is already done, it is an experience. Okay. Then, for the procedure genre, follows the following lexicogrammars as shown by the use of imperative sentences, the frequent use of passive sentences. Then, in the procedure genre writing, the commands or doing something verb such as to put, take, mix, switch, slow down, reduce, expressing, sequence. So, first, you have to saute. For cooking adobo, you have to saute the garlic, um, the onions. So next you have to put the meat or the chicken, and then you have to cook it for 5 minutes, then put water, etc. So that is for the recount and procedure genre. So, to sum up, genre as a product of writing, your writing is the genre itself. If you write a book about how to cook adobo, then it is already a genre that will fall under the category of procedure genre. So, if you are to write a short story, then this will fall under the category of literature genre. So, that would be it for the genre as a product of writing. Now, we'll proceed to my next topic, which is the process of teaching and learning through genre approach. So here, we'll be talking about how to teach and learn through genre approach. Regarding to the genre as a model of teaching and learning, Perkins, Faray, and Sengupta 2007 used the term cyclic strategic to define the stages of teaching and learning writing through genre-based approach. They also proposed three stages which must be followed and implemented during the teaching and learning process. The three stages are, the first is modeling, joint construction, and lastly, independent construction. So here is the picture of the model of genre of teaching and writing. So the first one is model or modeling, okay? Modeling a text or specific genre to students. So there are four practical steps which must be implemented during the teaching and learning process. So the four practical steps are, so first is teacher chooses a certain type of genre writing in order to develop the classroom activity. So in this case, type of genre must match with the student's needs and market needs where they will work later on. So for example, okay, a teacher here will provide an example of an essay, a specific genre that will serve as a guide of the students to understand the structure, its linguistic structure, and its communicative purpose. Second is the teacher and the student discuss the text genre by modeling and deconstructing or even manipulating the text. So here, the students are to look at the construction, layout, or the physical arrangement of the text. What is the content of the introduction, the body, and the conclusion. So for the third step, um, yeah, for the third step will be students are directed and situated in order to know and understand the function of the text, the communicative purpose of the text. Take, for example, the genre procedure writing, the function of procedure and the purpose of writing procedure. So the last step for modeling is the students then study the vocabulary usage of a certain genre procedure, grammatical or structural pattern of procedure, and then the student practice the procedure if necessary. So here, we'll discuss about the components of an essay. What must be identified first before proceeding to the next step? What are the appropriate layout, structure, etc. Next phase of the model is joint construction. In joint construction stage, the students start to do something more practical and operational dealing with writing. However, their work genre writing is not writing at all because they modify and manipulate the text given. So there are still guided, or the students, okay, are still guided and helped by the teacher before they become really independent writer of a certain genre taught and learned. As a matter of fact, okay, there are three practical steps how joint construction stage is developed and implemented. So the first one is the student reconstruct a certain genre writing given. In this case, the students may revise and paraphrase the vocabulary usage, the grammatical patterns, and textual devices if necessary by their own words. The second is the teacher continuously guides the students to discuss and order the students to remember so that they really understand well about the genre type given. And lastly, before going to forward to stage 3, the independent construction of a text, the stage modeling text, and joint construction are important to review. So here, um, a teacher will probably provide an essay, an example of essay, where a student has to modify or rephrase and they need to work out the essay following the learning from the step 1 and step 2. Okay? Or what do I mean is following the phase one, which is the modeling, they have to look at the physical constructions, the linguistic features of the text. And for the second phase, which is the joint construction, whatever they learn in that, they must use that to proceed to the third phase, which is the independent construction of a text. So by having prior understanding and experience of the stage 1 and stage 2, the students are ordered to write a certain type of genre as what they have learned before. The students write a given genre type independently. In this case, the student must be sure that the students really understand the feature of a certain genre, such as the communicative purpose, structured elements of a text, grammatical patterns, usage, relevant vocabulary usage, and textual devices as well. Here, a discussion about the component of a specific genre was done in the first stage, and for the second stage, the students were given the chance to experience how to write and identify part of a specific genre. This time they may they can make their own um, specific genre output, no, specific genre writing output using their own knowledge following their learning in the first and second phase. Okay, so that's how Highland's model work and function. Although rather we made another model, which is this one, but the same to what Highlands did. But this model is much detailed, like example activity work was given, what to teach and how to execute the model. So as a conclusion to this one, genre as an approach to teaching and learning writing is a matter of mixed approach between process and product approach. This it is kind of one coin with one facet, which implies two sides, that is genre as an approach or method of strategy to teaching and learning writing, and as a product of writing itself. So as an approach, genre refers to process of writing showing its systematical orders or steps to follow either by teacher or student. Whereas genre as a product shows its distinctive feature of writing either in terms of organization, physical design or layout, and also communicative purpose and linguistic feature use. So that would be it for my report. I hope you've learned something. God bless and thank you so much.